Welcome everyone to your weekly empowerment card reading. My name is Colette Mesdag and I am an intuitive guide and the creator of the Mystic Empowerment Card series. This week the theme has been brought to us by one of our members, and I really thank you, John, for your help in this suggestion. So the question or the theme is, how do I know that I'm making the right choices? And so along our paths we tend to be often distracted, or there's a lot of forks in the road, and we're going to get to the reading and see if we can address some of that as we go. The three cards were chosen from one from each of the three decks currently in existence in the Mystic series. The first one from the Mystic Bliss deck for change and transformation. The second one from the Mystic Journey deck for nurturing and healing. And the third one from the Action and Awareness deck called Men of Magic. Mystic Magic for short. I'm going to start with the first card. And just as a quick reminder, the theme is making choices. The first card is I Am Fruition. And I Am Fruition is one of the cards that I know when it comes up in any of my readings, is normally speaking about the end results being successful, come to fruition, harvest time, be, bountiful. And in regards to the theme about how do I know I'm making the right decisions, I think it's all in the results. You don't necessarily know mid-decision making that you're making the right decision, but your results are going to be the measure. Now, some people think that means that it only has to be positive results. And yes, positive results are ultimately what we want, but however, we do learn an awful lot from our mistakes as well. So if you're going to have mistake moments, mistake decisions, do make them in a powerful way so that you have the ability to learn from them. I mean, not saying make them, epic mistakes, but the point is if you make a mistake and you repeat it, or you make a mistake and you don't learn from it, or you make a mistake and you fall flat, then that's the biggest mistake. That comes down to choices again as well, because you could choose to let yourself be hampered by the previous choice leading you down a path that may not be where you wanted to end up. But what's nice about that too is sometimes the new path or the new point or the wrong destination initially leads you to the right destination. The fruition card subject is holding a sphere, and the sphere has got kind of this ethereal energy happening within it. And that could be a representation of, possibilities and the ever-shifting aspects of possibilities depending on the choices that we make. So don't limit yourself that, you're making the wrong choice because only one option is available. There's a lot of options. It's mutable, it's changeable, and you're not really stuck with, the choices that you make. If you find halfway down the path that you need to shift, then shift. Don't beat yourself up, I guess is what I wanted to say. And don't beat yourself up. Allow yourself to experience how it feels to not make the right choice in order for you to have a compare contrast for what it feels like when you've made the right choice. And the message at the bottom speaks about celebrating, and it basically says celebrate even small things in a great way. So small steps, even if they're wrapped up in things that are not necessarily completely successful, or I use this analogy quite a bit, where you take 2 steps forwards and 1 step back, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Well, eventually it becomes a dance. And whereas, I know it's a little bit a light way of thinking of making choices or mistakes that set us back, But quite honestly, if you're focusing on your feet, you're never going to know you're dancing. So do enjoy the journey and allow the choices to lead you rather than be hampered by the choices. Okay. Oh, perfect. I think I said I am powerful or something. Sorry, the card. Perfect. I know that I spoke on this card saying something about our choices can be very powerful. So it's kind of a nice flow into this card of I am powerful. Initially, I want to speak about the fact that the character is gathering resources, gathering energy, gathering knowledge, and we're going to gather knowledge by testing it out. So she's here testing whether this is ready for harvest. Again, back to fruition. That's interesting. And if it's what she wants to put in her basket. So you don't actually always have to take on the results of any of your progress or process. So if you make a choice and find yourself questioning it, go within, trust, and listen, because it is already in you. You are powerful. I have a friend who does a lot of body talk work, and she's incredibly incredible at this body talk work, and has taught me to go within a lot more, which has helped me in my process of creativity and how I do my card readings as well. So one of the things I just want to mention is that the knowledge is already within you. That's what makes you powerful. So if at all in doubt, when you're at a crossroad, when you're at a point in your life when you're trying to make a choice and there's two very distinctively different choices, you never know if they're going to merge, the paths are going to merge again together, but you do need to make a choice at that time. Get quiet, go within, breathe, feel which one you're drawn to. Feel, project yourself forward in your imagination as to what would happen if you took this particular path or that particular path, and allow that imagination to empower you, to send you forward and allow you to focus on which is the path or which is the decision to make that is the right one for you. The category of this card in the journey decks, I've got the 4 categories of the Sacred Feminine. And this particular one is the Crone category, which is lovely because it is speaking about that energy that we have gathered because of our choices. Over the years, the Crone will have learned a lot of stuff in the good, in the bad, in the choices that has been made along the way. So yes, there's such a thing as good choices and there's such a thing as wrong choices, but they're not necessarily bad, because if you've made a wrong choice, you have the opportunity to choose to turn around, as I've mentioned before. You have the opportunity to take it as a lesson, which I've mentioned before. And most importantly, you have the choice to stop and regroup, pause as it were, and you have the power to use what you've learned to move yourself in the new direction or change your mind. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind, especially on a spiritual path, to when you're not sure you've made the right choice. And back to tie this into the theme itself with regards to how do I know I'm making the right choices, I'm going to go back to saying trust your gut, trust your instincts, and be open to listening to what comes through for you. Your higher self knows. And another way to know that you're making the right choices is to explore the options. So I am exploring is the card that comes up, and he is in the south. I love the fact that this card is silhouetted so that it gives it sort of ambiguous in the sense that it's not specifically the color or the styling or the costume that is telling you that he's a pirate. It is his stance, or in this particular case, a pirate. He could have been a sailor, but it is his stance and his the tool he's using to search and explore and map out his process. So in the particular case of the question or theme for this week, which is how do I know I'm making the right choices, is explore your possibilities. Look beyond what you know. Look further and project yourself, as I mentioned in the other card, project yourself into what is possible. Imagine yourself in that new potential or possibility and see how it fits for you from, trust your gut. I use an awful lot of gut instincts, and I always have. And when I speak about the cards, when I'm creating the cards, when I'm choosing my models, it doesn't matter. I don't always use everything I've captured. That's okay. That's part of this, the choice and the decision making, and knowing that you're making the right choice is more, you can always change your mind. Whittle it down. If there's 5 choices, which ones would you definitely not feel comfortable doing? And then narrow it down. And if you're really feeling overwhelmed, pause. Pause and look into your inner self for your deeper power. And that sort of comes back to tying the 3 of these cards in together. I didn't mention South, sorry, for I am exploring. South is speaking about passion, stick-to-itiveness, fire, be determined that whether you learn new lessons along the way or whether it's an easy coast, your choices are made in order for you to grow. And you can find yourself growing in ease, or you can find yourself growing in difficulty, and neither one is the wrong choice. There's still growth. I'll leave it at that for the moment, and when we go to the other camera, we may speak a little further about the South. Will depend on how the energy moves at that time. All right, so to tie the message in about how do I know I'm making the right choices, all choices lead to a harvest of some sort or a result of some sort. So allow yourself to trust that the choices are going to give you a reward at the end, and celebrate that you've discovered something new, learned something, or grown from it. The I Am Powerful is reminding you to be aware of your own strength and power and resources in order to know that your choices are strong for you in your moment, in your lesson, along your path. Doesn't necessarily mean that that same choice will work for somebody else in the same way, because they're not you. So just allow, be in that power. And of course, I'm exploring is don't limit yourself to what you know. Ask questions, explore, look beyond your horizons, be open to different possibilities that may open your eyes to new adventures. Let's go to the other camera and wrap this up and talk about the question of the week. So I hope that was a good reading for everyone. I've got the cards here in front of me so that we can review them. The first card, of course, came from the Bliss deck. I might change it up one week, but I do like having the Bliss one, and in doing it in the order that I have been doing it. I am fruition. And all things come to fruition, as I've mentioned in the reading or before. And when you are making the right choices, or even if you're making the wrong choices, you do need to realize that it all is going to accumulate and build and come to some sort of end result. So whether there's a lesson in making the wrong choices or just a reason why things were delayed. So I don't think there's ever really such a thing as making the wrong choices. There's a harvest or a result, a fruition that's going to come from whatever choices you make. So that's quite powerful. Now, and speaking of powerful, the second card, of course, was one of the crone cards from the Mystic Journey deck. And again, the crone is represented by the earth symbol here in the corners. And our number is 39. And that's something that you may wish to look up in the angel numbers. I'm not sure how it fits in the numerology, but I think there's something about 39 that's just tickling at the back of my mind here. I'll try to post something below. But don't forget that you are powerful. You can make choices. You are going to make mistakes, but if you allow yourself to be weakened by those mistakes rather than empowered by those mistakes, that's the biggest mistake you can make. Making the right choices, making the wrong choices, it's all very powerful. You are powerful. Okay, so just a reminder. And again, the aspect of this card is also showing about gathering your resources with the basket in the corner. The third card is one of our pirate cards from the Mystic Men. And Mystic Men cards are about action. So part of the action component for knowing if you're making the right choices is basically try them out. Explore the possibilities. Look beyond what you know. Look beyond your horizons. Now, this card is in the South, and a lot of the stuff about South is just sticking to your passions, get fired up, and allow yourself to explore possibilities through your choices. And so that's what we've got this week. So don't forget that I am available for one-on-one card readings, whether it's in person if you live in the local area, or via internet through Skype or Zoom, your preference. The exciting thing that's really starting to get me going here is how we are going to go to press with a short run, because I've gotten a lot of requests for the holidays and trying to make them all by hand unless people are looking to pay for the premium decks. It was getting to be very, very challenging given all the things that are going on with Mystic this next few months. But regardless, this is coming up. I'm taking pre-orders right now. They will be ready in time for the holiday season. So I do hope that if you're interested in the decks and have been waiting for the prices to go down or for me to get into retail stores, that you will have take this opportunity to pre-order and have them shipped directly to you. We're going to end the reading with the question of the week. And I'd like to find out from everybody if you've ever made a choice that when at first, in the very early stages, it looked like it was going to be disastrous, it turned out to be something really wonderful and amazing because it taught you something or spurred you into a different direction than you expected and really became something special. So just let's talk about it. Let's have some fun. If you are enjoying these readings each week, please subscribe. Please enjoy and share. My purpose here is, as I said, to help empower you, help you rewrite your story, and help you reclaim your I am. See you next week, guys. Thank you.